Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Bucks and Brew here on the channel. Is Chip the number one running back moving forward? That's the question that I want to pose today here on this particular segment because I want to know what you guys have to say. It's worth the discussion, in my opinion, and it gives us a little bit of a focus outside of Kyle McCord and the quarterback situation. So let's talk running backs today on the show. If you're a Buckeye nut, hit the subscribe button and get in on the conversation with us. My name is Shane Larson, also known as the Game Time Guru. Like I said, I just took my pre-workout. I don't know if I said that, but I did take my pre-workout and I'm getting ready to go on a run. I always wear a headband when I'm working out. You know, we do have some scarlet and great headbands, but they look like pantyhose. If you want one, let us know. Anyway, uh, we want to talk about this today. I want to have a good conversation. I appreciate everybody who tunes in and gets in on the comment section. That's what this is for. First and foremost, I don't claim to be an expert. Never have claimed to be an expert. That's not me. I'm a Buckeye fan just like the rest of you. So again, don't take what we say for doctrine, but we do love chatting Buckeye football, giving you a little bit of insight, providing you with some Buckeye content, but we love chatting with the rest of the fan base. So leave us some comments. Let us know what you guys think. And if you could hit that subscribe button, help us get to 5,700 subscribers by the weekend, because if we can get to 6,000 by the Notre Dame game, we'll be doing a giveaway. So help us out. First milestone, 5,700 subscribers. Okay, guys, housekeeping items are out of the way. Let's talk about this situation, running back situation. First and foremost, where does Trevion fit in here? You know, if we're looking at the carries, you know, Trevion obviously starts at he was the workhorse at the beginning of the game. And in my opinion, he showed some glimpses of being that workhorse. When he gets in open space, he was able to, break away, get a couple of nice runs. But where I felt that Trevion struggled immensely was inside the tackles. Okay. And unfortunately, I feel like this could be one of those situations with Ohio State where you're going to need a bigger back with this particular line that we currently have, this offensive line, as they try to get ready. They're trying to figure themselves out and mesh. And these defenses aren't stupid. Indiana wasn't stupid. They know what to do. They know this is a new offensive line. They knew they were going to stack the box, run blitzing, and all sorts of things to confuse them. The issue is I don't feel like Trevion's going to be that guy who's going to run between the tackles and get a ton of yards after contact. He never really has been that guy. He's more of a speed guy. Get him out in open space, and he is dangerous. But the reason I think we saw Chip start to really flourish is because he can get those yards after contact. Same with Mayan when he's down at the goal line. Give him the ball, he'll get an extra yard or two after contact. And we're going to need that with our particular line because I don't anticipate this slowing down as we continue to see, they're going to get film on Ohio State. Teams are now going to see where they struggle. Obviously, I feel like the offensive line is going to be one of those specific situations where we're going to have run blitzes coming at us, a lot of stacked boxes. You're going to need guys who can break tackles or at least get an extra yard or two between the tackles because it's not going to come easy right now until we can spread this offense out. So where does Trevion fit? Again, I'll go back to the question: where does he fit? Do you see him just getting pushed down to number 3, or do you put him just in the rotation at number 2 at the current point? That's where I want you guys to help us out. I personally see him going to the number 2 slot, right? Mayan's going to be our short yardage back. Depends on the situation, goal line back and everything. But I still think Trevion is going to be lethal if you can put him at the number 2 slot. He's not the guy who's going to take the bulk of the carries. Put him in the number 2 slot. Get him in there a couple snaps here and there. And especially utilize him in the pass game. I think that would be huge for whomever our quarterback is, McCord, whomever. I don't care if it was Mickey Mouse, whoever the quarterback is. If you can have a back rolling out instead of having to come down and chip for a block protection, pass protection, get him out in the open space and utilize him in the pass game. I think Trevion has a lot of potential in the pass game. So get him in open space, get him in some screen plays, get him on some swing routes, and I think he can be super, super impactful. But what I like about Chip is that he can break tackles and he also has good vision, in my opinion. I was rewatching the game and there were a lot of runs where, he got the ball and the outside edge was like he could have cut inside. He would have gotten 2 or 3 yards, but then he breaks it outside, breaks a tackle, an arm tackle, and gets to the sticks. He has good vision for a running back. I believe Maurice Claret mentioned that he runs kind of like him. And that's not a bad thing. He runs just like him in the sense of like his power, his vision gets to the outside. He kind of reminds me of Trey Sermon as well. It's kind of an odd, one of these guys that like he stands a little bit straighter up, but he runs hard and he has good vision. That's why he had 8 carries for 57 yards. It's still a small sample size, but with our particular offensive line, you're going to need that. You're going to need somebody who can get you those extra yards. I mean, that adds up over the course of a game. Corey and I were chatting about this. I feel like Ohio State is one of those teams that, at least for right now, you're going to have to get used to having them be more methodical, throwing body shots throughout the first half. And then the second half is when you start to pull away. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of those close games in the first half, and then you start to chunk away at it in the second half with this particular team. And what Chip showed me is that he's capable of doing that. I would like to see him get more carries in the first half to do that. When you're a defensive lineman and you're a linebacker and you're a defensive back and you're trying to tackle these guys over and over and they're getting an extra 2 yards of carry, it wears on you over the course of the game. I really like his running style. The question is he number one, and can he continue at that pace as the number one back? So it's one of those things I don't feel is talked about enough. It's not spoken about enough. The workhorse, it's the same issue with Trevion. Like when you're the workhorse, when you are the guy, you have to be ready for that. The physicality, you're going to be taking, double the amount of snaps most likely. And that's including pass protection. Like you're going to have to be able to do it all. Does that wear on you and affect your actual ability to run the ball? So is he built for that? I personally think he is. I think he's a physical guy coming from the defensive side of the ball. He understands the physicality of the game. I think he is built for that. I think his body is built for that. Um, and so I actually believe he is, but I want to know what you guys have to say. Just for the record, I showed you Chip's stats: 8 carries, 57 yards, 7 yards average, right? Henderson wasn't terrible, but he had 12 carries for 47 for about 4 yards a carry. And I think his long was either 17 or 19. He had a big run, so the bulk of those yards came off of one run. And so that's where everyone looks at the stats. You can't just be a stat watcher. You've got to be able to kind of like dissect this a little bit and see what was actually going on. It just seemed like anytime Henderson got hit at the line of scrimmage, he couldn't get through for even an extra yard. He'd bounce off. And I don't want to hate on the guy because he's an absolute monster of a talent. I just don't know if he's ready to be the workhorse for this particular offensive line. You start opening up the field for Ohio State. Maybe Henderson starts getting the bulk of the carries and getting the bulk of the snaps at least. Again, Mayan as well. Don't forget Williams. He's a monster. There's a lot of people I'm hearing saying that Williams should be number 2. You move Henderson to the 3 slot. Williams did his thing. He's a short yardage back. He came in there and got his carries, and he had some nice catches. That 4th down swing route out to the outside where I thought McCord threw a phenomenal pass. Williams was out there to get that. So Williams has the experience, and he's more than capable of taking those. So I actually want to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm thinking Henderson at the number 2 slot, and then obviously Williams comes in for the short yardage. But there's a lot of people who think Williams should be taking more of those number 2, the number 2 slot. Like he should be in there with Chip. If you're looking for body shots, I think that's it. And if you're looking for a knockout punch, I think Henderson can come out there and get you an explosive play with his speed and agility. But if you're looking for body shots, perhaps we have Chip and Mayan at the number 1 and 2 with a nice little 1-2 punch. So I want to know what you guys would like to see from Ohio State. I would like to get this situation figured out before the Notre Dame game. I know that's hard to ask. You're trying to figure these guys out. It's always cool to have a deep running back room, but at the same time, you kind of run into problems because you've got to get into a rhythm. And you got to get into a rhythm. Having a lot of talent's great and all, but you do have to get your guy in there so that you can get into a rhythm. Certain backs have different styles and tendencies, and so you need to know who is going to be your guy. Let's get to that, and let's get rolling so that this offensive line can become more comfortable to not only help the backs, but also help the receivers and help the quarterback. So I want to know what you guys would like to see. Again, happy Labor Day. Excited to have you guys on here. I know I'm not Johnny, I'm not Corey, but I am part of the, Scarlet and Great team. And I love chatting with you guys. So please hit the subscribe button, share it with the rest of Buckeye Nation, and let us know what you think about the running back situation. If you want to hear what we had to say about the game, our instant reaction for the game on Saturday, we had a little bit more insight, not just from the running backs, but from the quarterbacks, receivers, and defense, as well as the play calling. You can go hit this button right here. Go check out our video from Saturday. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think. We do read those comments. And as always, God bless and go Bucks.